Greetings, Chris Zirkle. I'm a digital learning coordinator for the Wake County Public School System, and welcome to the Podcast Challenge. The Podcast Challenge is an experience for students, for staff members, for anyone with an interest in podcasting. You may be wanting to podcast yourself as an individual, you have content you want to share with a specific audience, or maybe you're looking at learning how to podcast so you can incorporate it within your practice, your curriculum with your students. Either way, going through the podcast challenge, you'll be thrust into what we call the student workflow, which is where you prepare for the podcast recording. We have some steps you go through. We have some documents to share with you to help you actually plan and get everything ready. Then we go through the recording process, the editing, and of course publishing, and how we publish in Wake County, the resources we use, and the details that go along with that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and walk you through the course, show you what the content is, show you how to navigate through the course, just so you can understand how the flow of the course works. So let's go ahead and hop over to the course. As you can see here, I've gone ahead and discussed what the podcast challenge is. Feel free to read through that. What are we going to learn in this course? In this course, we're going to have 5 modules that you're going to explore, and during each module, you'll first be presented with some content, whether that be in video format or textual format, possibly audio format. Then you'll have a time where you'll practice and implement what was delivered as far as the content during that lesson or module. Then you'll actually go ahead and do what we call a mastery check. You'll have to successfully complete the mastery check in order to progress to the next module. Module 1 is Podcasting 101, where we go through just the basics, foundational language, terminology, and the formats, some of the benefits of podcasting. We talk about the podcast process that you will be going through during the podcast challenge. Once you successfully complete Module 1, Module 2 will unlock, and that's where you'll go through the student workflow and you'll begin to prepare for the episode that you're going to record. You'll get that episode ready, you'll rehearse it a little bit, you'll go ahead and practice, and then you'll take your mastery check for Module 2. Once you complete that, you'll progress to Module 3, where you'll be instructed on various ways of recording, whether you are recording using various software that you have access to, and then we'll show you ways that students can record on their Chromebooks with applications that they have access to. You'll again practice, complete the mastery check, and then you'll go on to Module 4 where you'll learn how to edit. We'll edit a variety of ways with a variety of different softwares. You can choose which way and which software you would like to edit and use. Course practice, again, repeat, mastery check, you successfully complete that. You'll unlock Module 5 where you'll go through the publishing details, and then we'll have you complete the course. As far as the design for this course, you've kind of seen a pattern as I've explained the modules to you, that first you're given content and instruction, and all that is done asynchronously. So most of it's going to be in video format, textual format, to where we're modeling blended learning to you, so that way you can see how we as digital learning coordinators can use a combination of our learning management system, Canvas, and the content that we're delivering to be able to deliver it through the learning management system, freeing us to be able to do different type of work with you as we progress through the course. Some goals and reasons for taking this course. We have what we call must-dos and should-dos in our terminology of this course, and this is designed again for anyone who would like to begin podcasting, and we're going to come in at entry level. And the must-do is by the end of this course you should have named your podcast show, identified the anatomy of your podcast. You'll plan out one podcast episode, record it, edit it, and then you're going to publish it and distribute it to your target audience. Some of the should do's is that then you would then continue on with your podcast journey, and you plan out your first season, whether it's for you or your students, staff members, and we have a spreadsheet that you're going to have access to, and you're going to plan out the actual record dates, the post dates. You'll brainstorm different topics for your episodes. You have any notes on guests you may need to invite, and then begin to prepare to record your next episode. I have listed here the skills that are going to be checked or assessed during the mastery checks. The first number is the number of the actual skill. The second number is the lesson that skill is covered in. So the first three are covered in lesson 1. The second one is covered in lesson 2. You can see the pattern. Lesson 3 covers quite a few of the skills. And of course we wrap up with lesson 4 here. And of course, communication and support. This course has a discussion board. You can use it anytime to post any questions or comments. I am moderating this course. I'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. I am also free to meet with you online if necessary. Of course, if we're doing a face-to-face blended, just raise your hand and I'll come over and support you. And of course, getting started, what you want to do is navigate to the modules and begin with the first lesson in Podcasting 101. Let's take a look at what it's going to look like when you go to the modules. So when you go to modules, you're starting with Podcasting 101. If this is not spindled or turned down, go ahead and click that. And begin with what is podcasting. When you click on that, you'll be taken into the lesson. It's not a lot of content. It's just chunked out for you. Go ahead and read through this little bit of information about what podcasting is, and then click Next. You'll proceed and you'll go through and you'll look at what we define or discuss as traditional and non-traditional podcast. Go ahead and proceed through that. And then looking at the formats, just going to conclude with this. I'm not going to show you the whole course, but I want you to see that when you get to the formats, there are about 9 of them. You'll read what the format is, the pros and cons, and I want you to see that for each one we have samples that are student friendly. You can go ahead and click on the image or the link here and be brought to an actual podcast where you or your students can listen to some current, up-to-date, engaging podcasts and be able to hear the bumpers and to hear the podcast to really start to help get a handle on the formats, because we're trying to learn the formats here during our Podcasting 101. So when you go through all the formats, just click through that. You'll eventually, when you get done through the lessons, you'll be brought to your practice. So if you open up your practice is going to be where you're going to go through the podcast process, and you'll go through these steps here. You have 3 steps. Read the directions, follow the directions, and then when you're ready to submit your response, you'll read the must do and the should do, and then you'll click reply and leave your response. Once you're done with the discussion, you can always click on modules to get back where you're going. Then the rocket is going to be what we call the mastery check. So you gotta click on the mastery check. See how you can't get to the next lesson until you go through the podcast anatomy mastery check. When you click on a mastery check, we'll show you what that looks like. You'll see here at the top it says mastery check, and it'll give you some directions. It's really going to tell you kind of what the objective is, what you're trying to achieve, what you need to do in order to demonstrate the mastery of the skills that we're assessing during this particular mastery check. So you click on begin. When you complete and you're successfully completed, you'll unlock the next module. So that's the introduction to the podcast challenge and to the course that you'll be navigating through. All the content is built into the course, so you'll use headphones to navigate through that, or if you're reading text, whatever the resources may be, listening to audio, you'll go through the content individually. There are opportunities for you to work with a group, so follow the directions on those opportunities. And if you're in a class where we're presenting this face-to-face, just signal one of us will come over and help you, and we'll stop the class and of course move along and take you through all the activities together in person. And if you aren't in person and you're doing this asynchronously at your own pace, everything is presented for you in video, audio, or textual format. You'll get all the content, same content you would as though you were there in person, maybe even a little bit of higher quality because it's captured in video format for you. And then you'll navigate through all the practice and mastery checks. And upon completion, you'll be podcasting. You'll be ready to podcast. And we'd like for you to join our community, keep in touch with us so we can hear your podcast and connect and like and follow each other, that type of thing. So we hope that you enjoy the class. We hope that you will leave us some feedback on how we can improve. So be looking for ways to improve the course as you navigate through it. And of course, contact us at any time when you need support. Thank you.